Well, welcome to another Bourbon Riders podcast. Today we're in the Appalachian Bourbon Society with Daniel and his lovely wife, Jamie. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
You know, it seems like it's been a long time, but it really hasn't. The first time that I walked in here, and there was nothing. There was no bar. There were no signs. There were no bottles on the wall. There was nothing but concrete and dust. You still got the dust, but now you have all this. And I thought to myself today, what a good topic would be is if somebody wanted to start a bourbon society, why in the hell would they ever start a bourbon society? What made you think, Daniel, that you wanted to start a bourbon society?
I got into bourbon and we went to Kentucky, and that's when it really took off, was on that Kentucky trip, especially for her. That's when she started getting into it with me. But, you know, we were on the Facebook groups, or I was on the Facebook groups, and couldn't find any bottle shares being held up here. Reached out to several different people trying to get something put together, and nobody seemed to want to do it. Mm-hmm. So
I remember those conversations.
You were part of those original conversations. And
that was before there was an Appalachian Bourbon Society.
Yeah.
Isn't that correct? We were a member of another society. Nothing bad or good. We were just a member of another bourbon society in Georgia. And you and I were trying to participate, organize, do something to get bottle shares, because both of us wanted to be, part of a bottle share. And it was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, I reached out to, like I said, several different people, and, hey, let's put something together. They've had plenty of members in their group, I'm sure we could get some interest, but...
Oh, and that particular group had, I think, over 1,000 members?
I think last I saw it was like 1,300 members in that group.
So not a small group by any means.
No, and, I couldn't get them to get anything moving, and so, I met you, and...
Which was your first mistake.
So,
and here I am, and what did I tell you? Man, it sure would be nice to be a part of a bourbon society.
Yeah.
To have somewhere to meet. And
So we started it. So it's finally getting some traction now, too. I feel like we're starting to grow.
Now, you'll like this, James. The funny part of this, when he told me that, I'm going to build a bar in my garage, because we talked about having this event here, and if he moved all his Mustangs and trucks and all his fun toys out of here, he actually had room for people, right?
Right.
And so, this would be a great place to have it in here. And he made mentions about something about building a bar. So I anticipated a couple sawhorses and an old door. That's because I had no clue that he had any talent in building furniture. I knew he was really good at HVAC, but I thought, well, that ain't furniture. So I thought, we're going to have sawhorses and an old door, and I'm okay with that.
He does tend to go a little above and beyond, but I was a big part of that, of telling him to get the bottles out of my house. They were everywhere.
Well, I remember that at the time, and going and we were talking about my collection, and I told him I had it at that time. I had over 300 bottles, and it's not that I drink 300 bottles, that I've had a bourbon channel for over 2 years. And it's just surprising how fast they collect, and I didn't know what to do with all of them. Of course, no way to display them like you guys have here. So I really had no clue what Daniel had in his mind for a bar in here. And we'll, as we're talking, we'll show you some video of the section. It's absolutely beautiful, and I don't think anybody, and I don't know about you, I never anticipated something this nice, this big, that you could just come in here and a fairly large group of people could come in here and enjoy themselves at a monthly bottle share. I mean, did you really anticipate that you would have when you started, Daniel, did you anticipate you would have all this, that you would build all this?
No. Honestly, my first kind of rough idea for a bar was to find some used barrels and put a top on them.
And we actually did go looking at
Yeah, well, I helped you find one of those barrels,
Yes.
I remember.
But to do a bar out of barrels, I needed like 5 of them. And, you know, when you're paying $100 a piece for a barrel and then you still got to put a top on it, I was like, well, that's probably not going to fly at the moment. So,
So, I mean, did you find the plans online, or did you just wing it?
I wing it. Yeah.
You may be in the wrong profession. I'm sorry, because that I could not do, and I took wood shop in high school. I could not do what you did here.
I am no professional by any means, but I can get by. I grew up in the construction business. When I was a teenager, that's what my uncles and all done. And summers I was on construction sites helping build houses. So
you do have some framing experience. You know about the different, but I mean, from what I can tell, you didn't go out and buy the most expensive oak and mahogany. You bought pine and you bought galvanized sheet metal, and you turned it into something that's pretty cool.
There's probably $300 in that bar, maybe.
I wish I had some place that you could build me a bar. I have no place.
Yeah. Now the top is oak. That was the most expensive thing. That sheet of oak cost me like $85. But
that's one good bottle of bourbon these days.
That's true.
But all the part behind it, you know, it's like you said, it's pine. I wasn't going to spend the money on the rest of it being oak. I just done a nice top, so it had it had the nice top to it. But yeah. There's probably $300 in that. Then, you know, we built the bar, and we was on Marketplace. We found these chairs on Marketplace. These leather chairs we're sitting in, and
and where did you got your barrel halves? Where did you get those from?
Those come off of Marketplace too.
I'm a big Marketplace.
What did we
searcher?
Pay? We pay for those guys?
Oh gosh, I want to say it was like $75.
Okay,
I got
for
both of them.
them.
And then the fireplace, of course, that was just a piece of extra furniture we had in the house, and we said,
it
we
works
could use that
perfectly.
outside.
And then, of course, you know, did you have to kind of engineer the shelves going like, well, how much, if I put my whole collection up there, how much weight? Because I know when I researched mine, it was all about the struts or the supports, how much each one could hold. And I think mine was each one could hold 60 or 70 pounds. They're pretty heavy steel. They're a little different. They're thicker than yours, but they don't have that cross brace in them that yours has.
Yeah, I want to say those were like 120 pounds a piece. So I don't think they're going anywhere. Well,
and see, I've got most of my shelf. You ever noticed? It's done for the show. It's one bottle. I rarely put one bottle in front of another, so it's really whatever you could put the length of that shelf, one bottle at a time. That's the limit of my weight. But, you know, you put it all together, yeah. My biggest worry is that the guy that built that house didn't anticipate me hanging 1,000 pounds of bottles on the wall, that one day that it all come crashing down. That I'm not worried about the shelves. I'm just worried about the framing that's behind the sheetrock.
Right.
I'm pretty comfortable with the framing because I've done that too.
There you go. There you go.
He's a multitasker.
Daniel, we're now at what, 130?
Yeah, so we're up to 130 members, but you know that number's going up every day now. I love to see it.
Well, I remember it was just the three of us.
Yeah.
We started this. It was like three, and like, can we get four?
And honestly, the last few weeks, we've started increasing our women members.
Well, that's good, because I can tell you, being a YouTuber, that the percentage of women watching bourbon channels and my channel is very low. It's so lopsided. It's good to see, to get women into this, because, I mean, bourbon is bourbon. It's not like, oh, it's just for men. No. So it's really nice to see that.
I think that's another thing too, that I don't know, I've been to a bunch of bottle shares in the past or anything, but we have a lot of the wives or their significant other coming with them to the bottle shares. So I kind of like that as well.
And they're just not the drivers. They're tasting and participating too. They're just not like, oh, I'm just here, make sure I can drive my husband home. No, they're coming here to experience.
Some are.
Absolutely. At our last bottle share, there was a few of the women that were asking me what they could try to try and start drinking it with their significant others. So I'm excited about that. I think the members that we do have, a majority of them are fabulous, and the members that we've had coming to the bottle shares, it's been great. Daniel and I are empty nesters now, so it's been great to make some new connections, and we don't have the school parent connections anymore, so we're on an all new ball game.
That's good, but you do have grandkids now, don't you?
We do. We have one.
Yeah. So, a lot of people. Let's explain. I mean, a bourbon society for people. People always have groups that are like-minded for things they share or hobbies and stuff like that. But the big focus, I believe, of a society is to get together and have friendships and share bourbon, and that's all done through what we call a bottle share.
Yep.
Explain to because some people don't. I've asked people, what's a bottle share? Do you actually just trade bottles on the street corner? No, it's a little more complicated than that. So why don't you explain what is a bottle share for the Appalachian Bourbon Society? What happens?
You want to take it or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So basically at a bottle share, bring a bottle that you don't mind sharing with the group, and it don't have to be $100 bottle. If, that's not in your budget and you've got a $20 bottle, I want you to feel welcome as well. Don't come because you don't have that $100 bottle. Bring what you have.
We have some $20 bottles that we absolutely
but bring
enjoy.
a bottle that you're willing to share, and come sample some other great bourbons that's going to be here. But the biggest thing, I don't want it to become where it's all just high dollar bourbons. I don't want to exclude anybody because they don't have that. But yeah, bring a bottle to share. Come hang out, meet some like-minded folks, and make some new friends along the way. That's our goal with the bottle share.
Yeah.
Well, and
is making connections.
I was sorry. I was going to add in that last time too. We do occasionally have some bottles that are brought that are not specifically bourbon. They're a different whiskey or.
Well, I brought that 13th Colony rye whiskey.
Yes.
That's finished in Amberana. That's about as strange, about as far away from the bourbon world as you can get. A rye whiskey finished in Amberana.
Yeah.
But people love that one.
Right. So that's what I was just going to add. It does not have to necessarily be a bourbon.
Yeah, although we don't really encourage people bringing scotch.
Yes.
I'm not telling anybody to bring a scotch. You want to bring it, you're on your own.
You're welcome to bring it. I'm just probably not going to try it.
But I'm not going to drink it. Because it's kind of like my channel is that I don't do just bourbon, but I kind of keep with American whiskey and try not to get into, because I mean, people think there's a lot of different bourbons in the world. Once you open it up to whiskeys of the world, it never ends. There's Japanese, there's Irish, there's Scotch. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Right.
And then all the finishes and who's got enough money to buy all that whiskey? Not me. It's hard enough just to keep up with the bourbon world.
It really is.
Let's not bring up what we spend on bourbon.
There is no return on investment on bourbon. You just might as well get over that. it's a hobby like anything else. It can be a little bit of an expensive hobby, but boy, I can tell you that I would not have some of the friends, including you guys, which I consider friends, if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to share what I was experiencing with bourbon, and other people wanted, or like-minded, wanted to do the same thing. So,
and that's another thing that's great with these bottle shares is if there is a bottle that you might be interested in, but you've been hesitant on buying, it may be something that somebody's brought that you get to try and actually see if you truly like it before you go and hunt it.
well, and that's the magic of the bottle
beauty
share,
of it,
isn't it?
Yeah, because there's been several that we thought we wanted that we've been able to taste, and we're like, yeah, I think I'll pass on that one. So it can save you a little money in the long run doing the bottle shares.
And in fact, I think we kind of took that to a little bit further, is that we set up a shelf or an area to trade in the bottles you didn't like. Bring a whiskey, take a whiskey, something like that. It wasn't just limited to bourbon. If you had something that you opened up and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. Well, you might think that, but someone else might love it.
Yeah.
So bring it, drop it off, pick up another one. It's kind of like a loaner. It's kind of like a library. Like, take out this book, you don't like it, bring it back, get another book.
Yeah, well, that's funny you say that, because we've actually had some leave here and then they've made their way back at the next bottle share.
Oh yeah. The Frey Ranch, I think, keeps coming back.
Well, no, there was
We had two
two bottles
there.
of Frey up there to start with on the fireplace. So one of them's gone; it hasn't come back.
Oh, I thought that contradiction was gone.
No, it hasn't left yet.
It never left.
No, it never left.
And wow, and some of these are name brands, so it's not like they're like bad whiskey or cheap whiskey. I got a couple bottles like that you've never heard of, and people go, I ain't touching that.
Yeah. No, I think I know there's been several brought and put up there, and there's been several leave here, and like I said, some made a return visit back. But
Well, and that's the beauty of it is everybody's palates are different.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a different flavor profile. So if you don't like it, somebody else might. And
Well, Daniel, you and I are more alike than we are apart on or what we like. Of course, you might like more rye than I like, and you like higher strength than I like. But we have, in several blinds, we've actually picked the same one, so we're not that far apart. But Jamie, on the other hand, I remember when we first got here, and she had a sweet tooth on bourbon. Because it was like that Knob Creek maple, and I'm going like, oh my, that's disgusting. How? But then,
and it was my favorite.
but now you've evolved, haven't you?
I have. I still tend to go towards the more sweeter bourbons, but like that maple now is just too sweet for me. So I don't go to that one anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ones that, somebody brought an RD1
Maple, yes.
maple.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, I'm going to grab that one for me. I like it.
And you put it back, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
It was just too sweet.
She put it back on the fireplace.
So now that my palate is evolving, I'm going moving some away from the sweeter ones, going towards more citrus.
Oh, like that Valencia.
Yes.
Oh, that Penelope Valencia. I think unlike the Rio that gets all the press and no one can find, the Valencia is kind of like a bottle that it's secret. That people that love it know it and go and buy it, so it's not on the shelf. But you don't hear much about it. But it's a wonderful bourbon.
Yeah, you don't hear that one talked about a lot.
No.
Out there in the review worlds, but it's still kind of hard to find it.
I think that's because it's one of those things that the people that know about it are going like, there's a Valencia there. Grab it, honey, quick.
Yeah.
That would be me if I saw it out on the shelf. I would.
Didn't you ask me to grab that Valencia for you?
I did back at Christmas when we were out hunting.
This is the problem there. We got a secret society of Valencia lovers that's grabbing all these bottles and don't talk about the Valencia.
Yeah. Yes.
That way is more for me.
That's the second one that we have bought of the
Yes,
Valencia.
I'm getting just as bad with the Old Forester lineup too, though.
Well, I've got one we're going to try later on that a lot of people thought was Old Forester, and now the feeling is that it's not Old Forester because of the mash bill and the markings of the original barrels. But there was one professional vlogger that thought that it had to be Old Forester. Old Forester was selling their rye to the small company in Tennessee. It has to be, and come to find out it wasn't. So, but this is someone that apparently really likes the Old Forester rye, and so I think you might like this
That'd
one.
be interesting.
That Old Forester 100 proof rye is hard to beat for the money.
This one apparently beats it.
We'll find out.
This one apparently beats. That's what got me interested. You know, like, why the hell are you buying a rye whiskey?
That's what
I was
gonna say.
intrigued by the story. The story just like, oh, this is fascinating. No one can figure out where it comes from, but everybody loves it. And apparently they put it in a blind against bourbons, and it beat all the bourbons. And I'm going like,
Oh, wow.
Are you shitting me? A rye whiskey, it's a sweet rye.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a high corn and malt that most ryes don't have. The big thing right now is 95.5.
Yeah.
95% rye, 5% malted barley. This has got a crap load of corn in it. So it's kind of like a bourbon that didn't make it at a bourbon, but it's really a rye. So we're going to try that today. And
I'll be excited for that.
Yeah, look
And
forward
that's
to
kind of
that.
And
ironic
it's-
too, as my palate's been evolving, I'm getting more into some of the ryes with him. So it's
Wow, where do you see this Appalachian Bourbon Society going? Where do you think it's heading? I mean, we're not even a year. How old are we? 5 months, 6 months?
we're right around 6 months.
We'll say, yeah,
now.
we're about 6 months.
Not even a year old.
No. That's a question that I have asked myself, and I don't know the answer to that, where we end up. But, if we can keep building and gaining members, active members that participate and that kind of stuff, then, I would hope one day maybe we could pick some barrels for the group as a group. That would kind of be the ultimate goal of it, I think. But
I think we were going to get there much quicker because you remember when I originally started talking to a couple of distilleries. I won't mention their name because they'll go like, why did you mention my name? I didn't say I would sell you a barrel. But I've got 2 distilleries in Georgia willing to sell me a barrel directly. And the issue always is with a barrel, depending on how old the whiskey is and whether it's cask strength or diluted, you could be talking about 200 bottles.
yeah.
So you got to typically most groups won't buy more than 1 bottle. They'll buy 1 bottle, but out of that, still most groups, and I've been dealing with a lot of local societies, that you might have 40% participation. So if you think about it, you got a barrel, 200 bottles,
Yeah.
you only 40%. Well, what kind of numbers do you have to buy a barrel? You got to be a pretty big group.
And that's something we can definitely look into. Because like I said, we're at 130 members. So I definitely think we could sell 40 or 50 bottles. I don't know that we could sell 100 yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's the trick. I've already got commitments from 2 bottle shops locally that said they would split a barrel with our society. They take half, we take half. So the bottom line is, okay, can you come up with enough buyers for 100 bottles or for 80 bottles? It really depends on the yield of the
it's going to
barrel.
depend on how old it is.
The older is, the lower the yield's going to be because of the angel
But the
share.
higher,
And even at our
the higher
100,
the price that barrel's going to be.
Yeah.
well, I was going to, even at our 130 something members that we have right now, we're only having about 25 of those members that are actually attending the bottle shops bottle shares, excuse me, to hear this information and to have the opportunity to purchase.
Right. And I think we're not far away from it, but we're not there yet. It could be that the first thing we do is we do one of these quad shares where we only have to buy 25%. You know,
Yeah.
I know the talks that I've had with one particular bottle shop owner is that he's interested in 50%, and then the rest of it could be split between two groups, our group being one of them, and he had another group in mind. Again, I won't mention it because nothing's in stone. But right there, we only have to come up with 25% of the bottles. So that seems a lot more doable in the near future. But like a lot of things it kind of depends what the bottle is. If I tell somebody, oh, we're going to buy a barrel of Old Crow, they go, what?
Yeah.
Old Crow? No way. But you say, if you said Short Barrel or Fiddler, and I'm just talking, these are because they're local distilleries, or R.M. Rose or any of those guys, you get a lot of interest because it's local. Or something like a New Riff or an Old Forester or any of the big 8 distilleries that make really something that people are really after in a single barrel, especially cast strength, because cast strength is so popular. I think we're probably closer than that. It's just a matter of what's being offered, and you know, people are funny. People can be particular, like, oh yeah, I don't like that New Riff stuff.
Yeah.
What? I don't care for it.
I think it's something we could definitely look into, and you know, like you said, it's going to depend on what barrel we can do that with, how much participation you have too. I mean, that's going to affect your participation for sure. Whether it's, you know, something people are looking for or something they don't care about, so that'll affect it as well. But yeah, we're growing, and if we can, you know, hit that 200 mark, I think, and get a little more participation at the bottle shares, I think it's definitely could happen in 2025 for us.
Oh, I definitely think we'll be at 200 at this. It's kind of like a lot of things can be exponential. It's slow because no one's heard of you, but then after a while, you've got all these people talking about you. You've got a presence on Facebook. You've got a presence in YouTube videos that we do here with you, and that spreads. It's more of a geographic problem. It's like, well, I'm in Washington State. How can I become a member? Well, you can become a member, but I'm not sending you a plane ticket to come to our bottle share. That's on your own.
But if you want to buy one, you're welcome to come on down. We'd love to have you.
So,
And we're always brainstorming too, just amongst us to try and see, you know, what we could do to make it better, what we could do to get more people involved, or, you know, what even themes, you know, or ideas that we could do for
like you had
group
with the
involvement.
nosing, the last one.
Yeah.
You know, that is, we've got if you're interested in that, contact Daniel and he'll let you know how you can get access. You probably have to be a member of the Appalachian Bourbon Society before we give you access to that video, but you could actually become a member and we could show you, like, what are some of these events that we're doing besides just building up to a bar and sharing a bourbon. I know you guys are always like thinking of stuff, which is great for me because
yeah, we're trying to come up with new ideas to get people excited. We had one suggestion doing like some themed bottle shares. So, you know, say it's an Old Forester night or
that would be
and
great.
everybody bring a different Old Forester.
Yeah, bring some Old Forester, everybody, you know, or a Knob Creek night or a Stag night, you know, just doing some theme stuff.
Bring that OFC 1995 one I saw in a case earlier today. It's only $8,000. We'll be happy to share it.
Yes, please. But we've, you know, speaking of, stuff like that, we've had some great bottles that have been brought to the bottle share as well. I mean,
I could 13th Colony, Double Oak was shared, a
Yeah.
George T. Stagg was shared. I could go on and on. And I
Russell's
promise
15.
you, I did not bring most of these bottles.
Russell's 15 was
Russell's
shared as well.
15
So
was shared.
There's been some amazing pours that have happened, and like I said, we've tried a lot of different things that we don't have too. So, and I love exploring. That's
All right.
part of it for me, is exploring, because everybody's palate's different. So just because I like it doesn't mean you're gonna like it or you're gonna like it. And it lets you try and explore. It helps. I think it helps you build your palate. It helps you refine your palate, I should say. Hone in on what you like more.
Even with the
And what you
nosing,
don't like.
with
Yeah.
the nosing kit, with the members, I think a majority of them really enjoyed just sitting down and talking to each other and going through that kit and picking out.
So, Daniel said enough. I haven't heard enough from you. I want to know, what are you getting out of it? What do you like about being part of this Bourbon Society? What's it do for you?
Great question, Mike.
Well, Daniel knows that I love to be involved in something. I love to stay busy. Being empty nesters now, we pretty much just work all day long, and then we come home in the evenings and we chill with our dog. So having these bottle shares and these events and getting to make, like I said earlier, the connections with other women, and guys to go out to dinner with, and like with you and Kim, we just have a great time and really enjoy that interaction.
That's a great answer. So I think because we're growing so fast, we really don't know what to expect in the future, other than great things. I think it's just going to get better. The more people that come to these bottle shares, the more people, the more friends we make, the more connections we make. I think it just gets better and better. I don't see an end to it. I think it's just, at some point, Daniel, you may have to build a whole new building. How about that?
That's what I was going to say. At some point we will run out of room here, but I think we're a good ways away from that.
We're just in one segment of his garage right now. We got the whole other segment, so you may have to get rid of that state trooper car that's sitting over there. Is that okay with you? I'll buy it off you. I know you'll give me a good deal. I'll buy it off you. It'll hurt, but I'll buy it off you.
Oh, goodness. But we've got some room to grow still. We really do. But, one day down the road, it might be that we have to look for something else. But that's looking really far down the road, I think.
That's been one of the things that we brainstormed on, too, is just saying that, all of our bottle share events do not have to happen here, that we're open to having them at other locations.
Well, I would have never ventured into this if we hadn't have met Mike. I've told Mike that several times, but
it always comes back to it's my fault.
No, I'm not blaming you. I think, but you said let's do it and let's make it happen, and we. If
you didn't have a partner to encourage you and guide you along the way, you wouldn't have been this far.
Well, no, there was those blackmail pictures I had over him. What can I say?
Right.
Either you do this, Daniel, or it's going on the internet.
Them, right?
You can release them.
All I know is he had a diaper on. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think I was a toddler then.
So, we've probably gone real long, but it's been a great interview. And we will show some excerpts of this on my YouTube channel. But the majority of this is going to be for our members, so they understand. Well, how did this all come about? It was like chance and fate. I think it was fate that was going to happen, and we were going to meet and get together and do this. It just the stars aligned.
Yeah, they did. They really did. And we want to see it grow more. We really do. And we feel like we've made some awesome connections. We've kind of got a core group that shows up.
You do
at every bottle share right now.
You do have a core group,
and there's some great people there.
Yes.
and I think though they will continue to come. I really do. I hope they do. But I want to see some new faces as well. So,
well, then that rolls down to, because we need to wrap it up. Daniel, how does someone find out about the Appalachian Bourbon Society? How can they find the information and potentially join this fine group of bourbon lovers?
So we're on Facebook under Appalachian Bourbon Society. You do have to be a member to get access, but it's just a couple quick questions will get you access to the group. We do that just trying to keep some of the spam out. That's the only reason it's not public. But that's it. And once you get into that Facebook page, you will see the dates for the bottle shares are posted in there under the event tab. They'll be there. And that's really it. We are posting a little bit on Instagram and stuff as well, but mainly the Facebook page is where you really, really want to go. We're not posting our bottle shares and stuff on the Instagram
platforms.
or anything.
It's also a place, because we're going to be doing other things, like the other week when we sat out at a local bottle shop. Yes. Is they come out and join us, and let's grow this club, get local members, come out and visit this bottle shop, support somebody that's allowing us to hang out here for 3 or 4 hours. And so that kind of events too.
I do post the events as public as well. So if you are under the events tab and you search bottle share, it should pull up and give you the date of the bottle share. If you do find it that way though, click going under the attendance tab there, and I will reach out to you and give you the location and more details on the bottle share. But you can find it. It's the event tab is public. I forgot about that one as well.
And there's really no requirement other than you must be 21 to be at the bottle share.
Yeah.
And you must be responsible in the fact that be a responsible drinker. If you think that you want to really enjoy yourself, then bring a designated driver with you. But that's really all we ask. Oh, and to bring a bottle. Well, you've told us how they can contact you, but people may not realize Appalachian, that's like a big area of the country.
Yeah.
Where is the Appalachian Bourbon Society located?
We're actually located in Ellijay, Georgia here, kind of the beginning of the Appalachian Mountains. That's why we picked it, the Appalachian Bourbon Society name. But we also do, if you want to reach out, we do have email. It's appalachianbourbonsociety@gmail.com. So you can reach out that way if you have questions about joining the group before you do.
Well, I can first, where the hell is Ellijay?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. Where is Ellijay?
So we're about an hour and 15, depending on how you drive, north of Atlanta, straight up.
I've seen how you drive. You get there in 45 minutes.
I can, with no traffic, which never happens.
So we're just north. We're
north of Atlanta, south of Chattanooga.
There you go.
Yeah, we're right in between the two. Kind of actually, we can you can be in Atlanta in an hour or be in Chattanooga in an hour from here. So we're pretty much
you're not
in
far
between.
off a major highway, so it's not. Most of the driving is pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of the driving would be straight up I-575 if you were coming out of Atlanta.
Gotcha. Well, thank you both for participating in one of our Bourbon Riders podcasts. We know that you guys are content creators and you do a lot for the channel, so we appreciate you doing this for us. And I promise you, Daniel, those pictures of you in the diaper going in the fire pit tonight, now that you've done this for me.
No, Mike,
so thank you, Jamie. I know that you sometimes it's like, she's a willing participant here. We're not dragging her along.
No.
You've been a great benefit to the channel, to the group, and I don't know how Daniel feels about it. These things would have not gone off as well as it had it not been for all your planning and all that nice food that you keep putting out for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's done great, but yeah, she's been right there with me from the beginning.
It's taken a lot for me to get out of my comfort zone too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, and thanks for watching another Bourbon Riders podcast. And don't forget, check out the Appalachian Bourbon Society on Facebook. So we'll see you next time on another Bourbon Riders podcast.
Yeah.
We
And
we
bring
have
them
a
on.
waiver that everybody will sign.
Oh my God, they're attacking. I knew it would happen the moment we went live. What is that, Daniel?
My air compressor.
Your air compressor.